Well, okay. Well, I'm tired of typing. I always wished I was one of those people that like gets super all hyped up with caffeine, because I don't. I require much, but it doesn't actually. It's not as exciting as most people make it look. How much caffeine is in Red Bull? We need to figure this out. Okay. All right. According to this, a 16-ounce Red Bull, which I suppose must be the big one, is 148 milligrams of caffeine. A shot of espresso is approximately 64 milligrams of caffeine. And I've got 4 of those right now. She's already beating. There's usually approximately like 95 in a cup of coffee. And that's like 2 cups of coffee. Okay, how big is a big Red Bull? How many ounces? 16 ounces? 20 ounces? We'll ask Google again. Okay. So this right here has approximately, probably 450 milligrams of caffeine in it. That's about right. I figured it up. I would say my average caffeine intake ranges from like 250 to 500 on average. I don't often exceed like 500 probably milligrams in a day. Yeah, no. I don't know that I've ever had too much. Definitely requires some sort of like at least two other major sort of weird stimuli to do that. That's when I don't have my caffeine, is the no, I'm going to die, or no, I'm going to kill someone. Is probably more accurate, but that's pretty wild. Well, I know people. I remember. I know people that you give them sugar or caffeine or something, and they get all, and it does actually like seem to have much a significant effect. It's fascinating.
I don't know how you doing, man.
Yep. Yeah, like someone got it once, and I was like, huh. So I looked into it, and it tastes like that.
Can you hear me okay, Cogs? I'm like, can you hear me okay, Cogs? And Jesse's like, yes. Okay. I don't know if this makes sense, but I kind of want to do with other mediums what you do visually. Like with pictures and stuff, where it's like there'll be an image and then Cugs messes with it and there'll be like a lot more color variation and just like it's like a lot of different crazy looking stuff going on, and it's like I kind of feel like doing that with both audio but then also like creative writing concepts, just like throwing in dashes of fuckery. Like I had a thought, I was like, it was more than a thought. It's like when I sort of dip into the mental space where like I'm actually creative, I'm like, oh, I forgot I can go here. And I remember that I don't go here often because I don't think it necessarily makes sense to other people. But no, it's like I had for part of a video idea, like somebody with an exposed rib cage running a violin thingy, whatever the fuck you call it. Like the bow thing for violin. Running that across and it's like making noises. And then they're holding a yellow umbrella. I don't know why a yellow umbrella, but it's just shit like that. Oh, what would it sound like? I don't know. I haven't decided what the noise would be. But I almost wonder if that's like, think about NI stuff. There's something I had watched. There's a video of Carl Jung where he was talking about NI and how like with those like realizations or like sort of ideas or images in their head, it's like they don't know, like our introverted intuitives don't necessarily share those things with other people because it wouldn't make sense. So they kind of keep their mouth shut about it. I didn't really understand that until I started thinking about it recently, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. And I feel like it's not just limited to me, but I feel like a lot of people see things, and when I say see things, like they imagine things that don't, like it's difficult to breach in conversation because it's not necessarily leading to like logically or even emotionally transferable information. Yeah. Just stuff. But yet there's some sort of like it's left to the person to derive some sort of meaning out of it. But yeah. Yeah, I thought about it as like an interplay of the two. It's like I feel this sort of, not saying it is true in E, but it's like a sort of desire or like energy to have things be, you know, as we've described it around here before, is yeah, which is sort of like the phrase for any, like wanted things to come out that way, but there's like I seem to have a desire. Maybe it's not even a desire. It's like a compulsion to track whether or not something is thematically consistent, but that theme isn't necessarily something rational. So yeah, a lot of me talking to say I like your art, Hugs. I like it. I like your style. Hugs is INTP, I think. I thought it was INFP, but I heard INTP recently. I don't know if this is something you're into, but looking at your stuff sort of reminds me of that for whatever particular reason. The footage is from some movie called Artemis 21. Oh dear. Who hit the play all button? Probably fucking Chloe. So yeah, I guess now it's inflicted on everyone else. Thanks, Chloe. She's a 7'4" fuckboy. Oh, 458. I somehow don't see how you're 458. Has like a I don't know, 458s are the only ones, maybe not the only ones, but it seems like they're the only ones that can rival and then beat me in just strangeness. I don't necessarily get the same. It's more along a disturbing line. Like 458s do pretty good at being existentially uncomfortable or existentially unsettling. This is a Tumblr board of pretty sure this dude is ESTP854. That's what he is. So he's a metro type. He's a sexual self-preservation. I would say more like they're, whether or not, like, I mean, despite how they feel about it, I think it's more that they get the sense that existence is inherently unsettling in some fashion. I mean, like, that's how I would see it anyways, because it seems like that's one of the underlying messages that they communicate to others. I'm pretty sure Marilyn Manson is the main 458 treasure. 479 is the INFJ of the Enneagram. Everyone's one!
don't know, just in my head, I would guess it would be like something like do some weird stuff and then go home for a while. Back and forth between those two.
Wait, what?
That tri-type. I'm just imagining in my head like it's like probably do a bunch of stuff. It's somehow like both like doing weird stuff and then also like sitting at home a lot. Just the fact that you're saying those words doesn't actually. I don't know. You really identify with the 5 a lot, Chloe?
Well, you could keep up the appearance of a gangster if you never heard of speak or saw it. Yeah, the 458 thing I was talking about, I feel like they more naturally embody what I've sort of developed a bit more. Maybe. I don't know if that really counts, because I feel like I've been an oddball in some ways. Just trying to figure out what exact parts make it. I feel like.
Because 458 is like. I can see that one being a bit contradictory and kind of just.
458 strikes me as like more archetypal, like in an archetypal sense. They're more like they like a 458 tri-type person would strike me as like being interested in people to the extent that they can be dissected.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be totally cold. Like there would be, there'd be a certain type of emotional flair there. That would be different. One dude that
It doesn't sound like a type that would be much about. It sounds like a type that would be less about like experiencing things as much as kind of, like you said, kind of dissecting things.
Uh-huh. It seems like, I mean, I don't know how different it is when the 8's in charge, but I feel like the 8 in that tri-type, when it's not in charge, probably serves the sort of psychological and emotional deep diving of the other two types.
Yeah, the 8 in like a low 8, like bottom slot that doesn't come out much. Just my, admittedly limited, but so far observations and theories would be that it's kind of. I imagine it kind of works as like a bedrock, and it's it's a wall that you can hit, and it's kind of that, but it's not.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I don't think it flare. I imagine it wouldn't flare up like it does when it's in the second slot.
Uh-huh.
Second slot 8 is fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a better idea of what my positioning is, because first I thought I was like 946, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm probably 964 now. But then it's like, as far as trying to figure out the strengths of the positioning, I think is something that's sometimes difficult.
Yeah.
Like the dominant one makes sense, but then the other two, I'm like,
the other two could be really hard because theoretically they could be almost even. Because I kind of feel that way about my secondaries. It's like from one day to the next, I would probably tell you, I'd be like, no, I'm. Now 3, no, I can't tell between 3 and 7. But
I almost wonder in some ways if I'm 4-wing 5 Chloe, just because like some of the 4-wing 3 descriptions kind of make sense for me, but I don't know if like the 6-wing 7 covers that, so to speak. Like I need to more so than cover it. Like, oh, the 6-wing 7, that explains it enough. Like instead of considering them separate things, I guess I'm just trying to pinpoint more in what situations and why would I be acting more outward or things like that. So the 4-wing 5, individualistic as fuck. See, fuck societal norms. maybe 4-wing 5. I almost imagine, and this is not a rule, but a 4-wing 3 could just as easily say, I'm individualistic, fuck societal norms. In fact, they might be more flamboyantly dramatic about stating those things.
Yeah, these are probably more dramatic about it. I mean, I feel like they would be more proud of it.
I feel like I have an inclination or a desire to do those things, but I don't feel like I do it as much. And that might be because the other tri-type aspects mute that, primarily the dominant one of me not wanting to emotionally rock the boat. But then when it comes to me actually expressing my emotionality, I'm like, come down the rabbit hole. I just want to play. Wing 20. Go to hell, Cugs. Cugs is making his own system. Fuck Eric Thor's system. Cugs is like, I'm a 4-wing 30. Oh, you did? I mean, I don't think I've really seen enough facets of the creature known as Cugs to be entirely sure, but I'm not immediately like, no, you're not 458. Like, I could see it as a possibility for Cugs. Just because it's not necessarily like the stuff you put up isn't really disturbing in a self-preservation sort of sense, but it's definitely, I mean, I made the comment the other day how like just the way that everything shook up in your images, or there's just color everywhere and things are out of phase. It's like there's a certain disturbance vibe that it gives off. Don't waste your Ultra Balls. I think the more root question is, why do people hate?
Hate what?
Why do people hate people? She said she found a feminist on Facebook. Why do feminists mock men? And I said the more core question is, why do people hate?
Because people are different, and people hate when other people are different, so they despise them and kill them and burn them on bridges as witches.
People have this.
Because they have
thing and they like they have feelings. That's why.
There's a fear of the unknown. What is unknown you cannot deal with. What is unknown you have no possession over. And what is unknown and you have no possession over is dangerous. So inevitably an evolutionary is the best. It's for the best to kill everything and everyone in your sight instinctually that is different from you and you don't understand.
Life is pain.